Welcome into Inside LAFC podcast. We are live on LAFC YouTube. We're live on LAFC Facebook. Making it to the back end of the year. This will be our final program, and we will be big and better and badder in 2026. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Come on in. We remind you to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We invite you to leave a comment. We will ask any questions. There's still a lot of LAFC news swirling, and the free agency period's open. So expect, and I use that word, I don't use that word loosely, expect activity, because that's what LAFC does. A week since the announcement of Marc Dos Santos, we had a chance to sit down with him, check out that interview on the LAFC YouTube page. He is starting to get busy at work, talking about the vision, talking about what he is looking to do. And LAFC's preseason, many, as you can also notice, a lot of MLS teams are making moves the offseason in Major League Soccer, which used to be a real dead period. It is no longer. It is a true silly season with a lot happening. So come on in. Look at that. The Chris, thank you. Merry early Christmas to you. Good afternoon. Happy holidays. They are treating you well. Yeah, I got to see some family. Going to have a little time off here. And again, we are focused on bringing you in this YouTube page a top priority for us and the club. I know I spoke to our producer, Sarah, about this program, and she was on board, and we stamped it for as much as we could do in this year. And as I pointed out, there is no rest in the MLS season, the LAFC season. That will continue. So let's update you with what has been happening as of late. We also welcome all our fans in Korea up and early. Keeping an eye on all that is happening with Son Heung-Min. It is the off season. It's a World Cup year we're coming into, and there is a lot going on. These players have to get activity and games. The preseason will start soon enough, but they are focused not only on the upcoming MLS season, where the goal with 23 players signed into the fold already to hit the ground running with two competitions, front and center in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, and then that season opener for Inter Miami at the Coliseum. So you can get your tickets. Go get your tickets, LAFC.com, so you can be part of that game there on February 21st. Here we go with the rumors. Kevin De Bruyne, I've not heard that rumor, but you're going to hear some crazy rumors, and you're going to hear some sensible rumors. Follow Tom Bogert and many others about who might be coming to LAFC. They do have a DP. We spoke to John Thorrington when Marc Dos Santos was announced, and he said we're going to sign 3 players. He was very specific, and it's all out there. And it looks like look for an under 22. They're very keen on using that to continue that youth process for this LAFC team, where we saw a lot of growth in 2025. And I have a real feeling 2026 it is going to boom with young players coming up from the academy, with the young under 22s. David Martinez, for instance, who's under contract, could have a big year. Nathan Ordaz, who had a really good 2025, clipped a couple hurdles, which young players tend to do. I have a feeling based on the offseason he had, he's going to come back huge. Jude Terry growing. Some news about Lisandro Torres, the very talented player coming out of Long Beach. He has been signed to an LAFC 2 deal. So they are focused on that group with Marc Dos Santos, John Thorrington, Neil McGuinness. A lot of eyes. Keeping very busy with LAFC. So let's get into some of the team news, starting with the MLS Super Draft, which occurred by tail end of last week. The picks are in. LAFC have added 2 players from the collegiate ranks. They had a first-round pick, Giuliano Fravolini Whitchurch, who went to Princeton. Yes, our Princeton connection continues, started by Coach Bob Bradley, continued here by Giuliano, who went to Princeton, but's a San Diego kid, 6'3" defender. Princeton had 2 remarkable seasons, specifically defensively. They set records for the university in their college ranks. They won the Ivy League. They won the Ivy League tournament. I reached out to him on IG. He reached back and said, I'm very excited about joining the club. And I go, you're going to love it. And we'll get to how much players love LAFC. A really interesting poll was taken by the MLS Players Association, so stick around. Yes, Bob Bradley was a very proud Tiger. He'll be the first to tell you. I mean, I remember when Grant Wall was doing some interviews with him. He went to Princeton. Jesse Marsh went to Princeton. Bless the Princeton folks. It's an incredible university. I just went to Florida State, the Ivy League of the South. That's not true. Although I couldn't get to Florida State nowadays. It's a very challenging school. But Princeton people will tell you they went there. So, in fact, Giuliano Fravellini Whitchurch, we're going to have to come up with a good nickname for Giuliano. And then in the 84th pick, the third round, Ian Wagner, who went to USD, University of San Diego. He is a midfielder. LAFC historically haven't leaned into the draft for talent. I will preface this by also saying a lot of good players are coming through the super draft. People thought it was a dead duck. It's not. Just look at some of the players like a Patrick Ajimang, who was drafted, went to Charlotte, now is at Derby County. Daryl Dike, who's had his injury issues, a similar situation. There are players that are going directly from the university system to Europe. There is at least one player every year that a European club will nab. And it is part of that late bloomer. Not every player, hear from coaches and managers about, you see a kid, he's 15 years old, he's either got it or he doesn't have it. That can be true for some, but not for every player. Some players develop late and they come through, and there's a wide variety of them. On the national team, I would point out Max Arfson, who went to Cal Davis, then went to Columbus, started with the Columbus Crew 2. Now he is a fixture on the U.S. men's national team. He's going to go to the World Cup, and there are EFL championship teams knocking on the door. So the MLS Super Draft is, your son graduated from FSU, Johnny Lee. Well, let's go Noles. All we have is academics and our women's soccer program, which won their 5th national title. Other than that, our sports department, not so hot right now. But I won't dwell on that. So 2 draft picks. Now, last year, after what I said about the draft, LAFC selected Alec Hughes, who played in U.S. Open Cup play. He played with LAFC too. Does he have a future for the senior team? I don't know. But these kids come in and you have competition and you can have a big offseason and you can get through. I would bring up the example of Kenny Nielsen, who was a draft pick in 2024, the 52nd pick. Kenny Nielsen started a couple games for LAFC in an emergency situation. We know, speaking to John Thornton, they're looking for center backs. But what if Kenny Nielsen knocks it out of the park in the offseason, like so many have before, comes in faster, stronger, fitter, and says, I want to play bigger minutes for the club. So the MLS Super Draft, you've got to use every apparatus you can if you are a club to get the very best possible roster, and competition will breed quality over the next few years. So if Giuliano or Ian are tuning in, great to have you guys again. Welcome to the club. Can't wait to see you in black and gold. This is Inside LAFC Podcast. It's our final show of 2025. Okay, got a little emotional. I can't tell you how much I enjoy getting on here with you guys. And again, we have big plans for 2026. Our production team is going to talk about it, what we're going to do with guests, etc. And again, because of what you guys have done, I want to give you a lot of credit. Because of what you guys have done, the powers that be at LAFC have looked at YouTube as a really important vehicle to get the message out for our branding, for our club, for access to the players and coaches. We'll have a lot of good stuff for you ahead. So like the video, subscribe to the channel one last time here in 2025. Maybe center back, we might want Ben Davis. Ben Davis, Tottenham Hotspur player. His name's been circling around. Obviously, there's a Tottenham Hotspur connection here at LAFC, which you are abundantly aware of. Who knows? But if Lionel Messi can bring in players that he's played with at Barcelona, he's played with on the Argentine national team, what is to say Son Heung-Min cannot do the same after an electric few months here? We look forward to his first season, full season in 2026. So the MLS Super Draft picks are in. Now, we've mentioned, people asked this question over the last few episodes about the Coachella Valley Invitational, and we have a schedule. I think there might be some subject to additional games. We're not 100% sure, but I can tell you that LAFC at the Coachella Invitational will play New York City FC on a Sunday, February the 8th. The game is at noon Pacific. Mr. Dunseth needs to be in every episode from the Chris. Yeah, Brian did a great job. He's on vacation right now, having a little recharge. David Day, real question is, why don't we have 3 DPs? Well, that's a question I see a lot on social media, and the answer, John Thorrington certainly knows. I wouldn't rule against having a third DP, but I truly believe they're waiting for the right guy. And they got an incredible DP situation with Heung-Min. And now they have that third one they did fill with a lot of loans, as you will remember, with a couple players, Dilrosun, Cengiz Under, that filled that third DP. So they wanted the flexibility. Did it work out? No, but you can't fault the team for trying to see if they could find that guy. No other MLS team is doing that, having loan after loan to see if they can find a guy that fits the bill. And who knows? They're always looking, but it has to be the right move, because certainly for people that are just tuning into MLS, some people that were Heung-Min fans now tuning in, the salary situation or the financial situation for MLS clubs can be very rigid. And I give the example of Atlanta United. They just hired Tata Martino. They have 3 DPs. And with regards to that, if one of them doesn't work out, which it hasn't, Alexei Miranchuk, for instance, hasn't really worked out, that they are stuck on that contract. And now you have a new coach who's trying to be flexible. They have Miguel Almiron, who didn't really have a great year, and Latte Lat, who was the big movement. I think he's got a high ceiling still. But Atlanta United are handcuffed. So it's got to be the right pick. And LAFC nailed it with Denny Bwanga, and they nailed it with Heung-Min. We'll see what it's on. I hope that answers your question somewhat. I am not sure Ben Davis would come just because he has managerial ambitions. I didn't know that. Yes, to Coachella. Yes, I saw that, Coog. So that game, Sunday, February 8th, I invite you guys to go out there. You've probably heard me say this before. Coachella is a magical place. Make a weekend out of it. Get a hotel for Saturday night. Go see the game Sunday. Maybe you can drive back. Within 50, 60 miles of Coachella, you have Palm Springs. You have golf courses aplenty. You have casinos if you're into that kind of stuff. But they're there. You have the Joshua Tree National Park, which you haven't seen. Drive through that. In the wintertime, it's perfect. So you can wear a little sweater, go through there. You have Pioneer Town on the other side of Joshua Tree. You have Idlewild, where you'll probably have some snow, where you can go have a nice afternoon or evening. And you have Big Bear, about an hour and a bit from there. So bring your skis. I might be doing that. So I will be there. Looking forward to checking in with you guys. If you're there, come out, look for me and say hello. Would love to say hi. I always tell you guys to do that. Sob Sport saying excellent. Don't know what exactly he's talking about. It could be a variety of things. The draft picks, which we just told you about. Maybe he's thrilled about the Coachella, but I don't know. Maybe you can give me some context on that. Let us go. Great job, Eric Waisama from Uganda. We have a listener, a viewer in Uganda. That's what we want. We want this to be a global show, and we get folks bring that up. If you are from somewhere that you feel is a bit off the beaten path for us in Los Angeles, drop a comment in here. We'd love to see that. Luca Bombino, still LAFC on loan to San Diego. They have made that official. He is now a San Diego player. I'm going to say this about Luca. He is a delightful person. I've spent some time with his mother as well when she was at training. The Bombinos are first class, and we wish Luca all the best. This is a place where he can grow. And LAFC do have some investment still in him with regards to a sell-on. So if San Diego FC sell him, which there's already been chatter doing it, LAFC will get a piece of that. So, but Luca Bombino, it's the right track. If he stayed with LAFC, he wouldn't have gone to the games because our fullback situation was pretty set with Ryan Hollingshead, Sergi Palencia, and now Artem Smoliakov. This is Inside LAFC podcast. We got some dates for Coachella. We got the draft picks. I told you it's a busy week. This is our last show. If you're joining us late of 2025, we'll be back in the first week of 2026. Max, there's a vacant coaching slot following Mark's promotion. Any sign of who is filling that space? I don't have any news on that, but I think that'll be an order of business that Mark and John do pretty quickly here early into 2026. This is a club that have a very detailed staff, more so than 95, 99% of MLS teams. I don't think it's all the teams because the Chicago Fire have 2 goalkeeper coaches. Greg Berhalter has some flexibility. There's a lot of MLS clubs with the resources, but LAFC have, and you've seen the guests on our Black and Gold Insider. So check out Black and Gold Insider to see if we talk to our data guys, we talk to our nutrition coaches, we talk with the guys that oversee all the technical qualities. And LAFC, if there's a need, who knows? Maybe they hire a set piece coach at some point, because I think Chicago Fire have a set piece coach as well. Any news on the new jerseys? I got nothing, but they're in the works. All I know is that there is going to be a new jersey. So stay tuned to the LAFC channels, because when they come out, it's going to be hot. So go to LAFC HQ some point in January, I am sure. And one thing you know about LAFC, they are just magnificent. And you want to get your hands on it. Maybe with Son Heung-Min's name on the back. Maybe with Carlos Vela's name. Maybe throw Bretos. Don't do that. That'd be weird. LAFC from Heung-Min with the awe emoji with the face with the hearts. One of my favorite emojis. Everyone's very happy about Son. We have some Son Heung-Min news coming up, so stick around here. We will get to that here shortly. Look at that. Everyone's rolling in. Takes a minute. Every day at 12:30. By the way, we are flexible to seeing what time we start this show in 2026. If you have any good reason for a good time, let us know. I want to see. But we're going to be fleshing all that out and get to the bottom of it and have an improved product. Again, this was a great year for this program. It's gone through so many transitions, and now we have a streaming channel that gives everyone immediate access. It's our first live program. That's something we are immensely proud of, and I get to interact with you guys. And the interactions are very noted, and we talk about it afterwards. We're going to answer all your questions. Now, if you don't watch the show live, leave a comment on the YouTube page. I look at it every Tuesday, and we will address that in the new year. Max, if we bring DP 2026, how about a salary problem with us? LAFC is pretty savvy when you look at that with regards to their salary. So I don't want to get into the finances too much, because again, I don't really know all the details, and that's for a reason, But if you bring in that third DP, you're going to be up against it without question. But I think that the LAFC are interested in that, but it has to be the right one. I see some people that come out of contract and everyone starts streaming for LAFC. There will be that fit. And I think there's going to be some salary flexibility pretty soon in MLS as they've done the schedule change. The next shoe to drop is going to be some adjustment to the salary team. As I said last week's show, Inter Miami winning the MLS Cup has fast-tracked how LAFC are going to do their finances. And if you check with Inter Miami, they signed Dane St. Clair, the MLS goalkeeper of the year. We don't know the finances of it yet, but it's on a very club-friendly deal in comparison to what Minnesota United was going to pay him. They have gone Sergio Reguilon from Spurs, so they have a new fullback there. Inter Miami are going for it. LAFC are going for it. The Galaxy have been extremely active. They have Ricky Puig coming back. They're going to go for it. Atlanta United under new leadership again with Tata Martino. And even some of the teams like DC United and Colorado Rapids signing players. So I use this term very, very respectfully. The bottom of MLS, based on the standings, those teams aren't sitting pat. So if you don't do your due diligence and your business, you're going to be left behind, and you don't want that. This is a good time for the show as it is 8:30 p.m. UK and Ireland. Your lunchtime is my evening view. That from Craig. Craig, who I had a tweet about Wilfred Nancy, who's at Celtic, and the Celtic fans and the Celtic media have just smashed Wilfred Nancy, who had 4 losses in a row. There's no disguising that. I ended up watching 2 Celtic games over the last few weeks. They look so exciting with Nancy. Are they getting the results? No. But I think they had like 25 shots against Aberdeen, which I spent my Saturday, watching that game? Give it some time. And Wilfred Nancy is the guy who unearthed a lot of players at Columbus, like Max Arfson, Patrick Schulte, who's probably going to the World Cup as well, like Sean Zawatsky. He's going to find some guys in that Celtic academy and elevate them. That's what he does. I'm telling you, the coaching here is very good. Celtic, be patient. Hey, Max, anyone from LAFC 2 coming up to the first team? Adrian Webowo, who we talked to on the Black and Gold Insider, I think has a good shot. He broke in a couple times. And Jude Terry's still a bit young, but Jude Terry is a guy. He is probably under 17. You have what's his name? Kevin Sullivan. Philadelphia Union's the top under 17 prospect. There might be another guy. He was a former Galaxy guy. His name escapes me. He plays at Borussia Dortmund. And I think Jude Terry's 3rd or 4th. Scored a goal in the under 17 World Cup. He might get a sniff the back end of 2026. And that would be amazing because he, in all likelihood, is the jewel of the LAFC Academy now that Nathan Ordaz is a full-time first-teamer. So Adrian and Jude are 2 of the guys certainly at the top of that list. I know I brought up the Galaxy, but I think it's good. If the Galaxy are competitive, LAFC, it raises their standard. Last year was weird. The league is better when the Galaxy are competitive. When both LA teams are churning, all eyes have to focus on Los Angeles. So that is good. Inside LAFC podcast. We are live on LAFC YouTube. We are live on LAFC Facebook. Come one, come all. I'm looking at all the questions. Dream, you gave me an L. Was that my Galaxy take? Is that an L take on that? All right. My bad. We talked about players keeping busy. Denny Bwanga, he is at the African Cup of Nations, which has begun. It's being played in Morocco. He is going to be with Gabon. Denny Bwanga and Patrick Aubameyang. I think I butchered that name. But Gabon came very close to making at least the World Cup intercontinental qualifying before they lost to Cameroon, I believe. So he is going to be busy. This is great for LAFC because he's getting games. He's training at a relatively high level, I would believe, playing for Gabon. They were in the African Cup of Nations. It went okay last time around. So their first game is Christmas Eve, December 24th, noon Pacific time. December 28th, on the 24th, they play Cameroon again. December 28th, 4:30 a.m. Pacific time, they play Mozambique. And New Year's Eve, the 31st at 11, they play Ivory Coast. I know what you're thinking. That's a very difficult group. It is. They're in a group with Cameroon and the Ivory Coast, who you would put one notch, maybe a notch and a half ahead of Gabon, talent-wise. The good news, third-place teams can advance. 4 teams will. So I think Gabon, I think they can get something from either Cameroon or Ivory Coast. They beat Mozambique. So Gabon will make it to the round of 16. So if you want to watch these games, they're on beIN Sport. If you have it, there is an AFCON package. I believe it's like $66 if you want to get and watch the whole thing. So there are some options there if you want to see it. Support Denny Bwanga, but rest assured, Denny is going to be kept pretty busy the month of December, hopefully into January, and then he'll come back and be in preseason form. So Denny Bwanga is going to be ready to go. Knock on wood, no complications at AFCON. We wish him the best of luck. We just need more guys like that. We have a few guys that are going to be still competing for a World Cup spot. Matthew Choinier. There will be games in March for Canada. Timothy Tillman, will he get another call-up? I had good contacts, and I spoke to Brian Dunseth, who covers the U.S. team for Turner. He says Mauricio Pochettino loves Timothy Tillman. Is there a spot for him on the World Cup roster? He's probably on the outside of it. But if he gets another call in March, Mauricio Pochettino's already said this is going to go down to the wire, his starting 11 and his roster. So it's all good. And then, other players, Heung-Min will be kept busy. He's doing a worldwide tour. We'll talk about Sonny here in a moment. Let's get to some of these questions. Do you think we'll get Bogusz to come back? Matty Bogusz hasn't gone great at Cruz Azul. There's a lot of MLS teams with interest. I would imagine there's a phone call. He would fit in very nicely. He can excel here, and he loves it here. It just have to make it work. I don't think it would be at the top of the list, but I think you would be silly enough to say, can we make it work? And they would look into it. Come on, Max. I know you're juggling 1 million things, but both LA teams, I'm just saying it's good when they're both good. If LA Galaxy are a doormat, it's not good. It raises the rivalry. It raises the interest level and the fandom because, it's a healthy fandom where it goes back and forth. David, Denny is a machine. Yes, he is. He could play. I've talked to Denny many times, and he goes, I love it. I told my family, this is who I am. I want to play. And he's not going to stop. Lots of miles on Denny's frequent flyer card during his LAFC career. Unfortunately, they do charter. Well, not unfortunately, fortunately. So they're not going to get the points. It'd be great if they did, but I don't think they do. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask that to Jeff Huber, who does maybe we should get Jeff on Black and Gold Insider, who does all the minutia for LAFC on their travel. And I was saying, do they get travel points? They can. That would be crazy. The Carson Galaxy. Okay. Here we go. We got some questions from our friends in Korea. Let's have some rookie Smora join us. I don't know what that is. I hope I didn't say anything inappropriate. That's not. I think that's the name of a player. Stop saying, you said stop saying LA Galaxy. They are listen, I live in Redondo Beach. I am in LA. Carson's the next neighborhood over. So if I say Carson's on LA, then I'm technically, I understand it, but MLS was a much different place back then. So I love beating the Galaxy, and LAFC is the LA team because of where they're located. But these are two LA teams, because then we couldn't say that about Manchester. I mean, Manchester, Old Trafford is way out of town. They're not going to let me go. I get it. All right, let's move on. No more Galaxy talk. Yes, indeed. Good to see everybody. This is Inside LAFC Podcast. Leave a comment or a question or a concern. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. This is our last show of 2025, as we've told everyone. Oh, Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura. We've heard that too. He'd probably have to fall into a DP contract, as would Ben Davis. So the Tottenham Hotspur connection, Son Heung-Min's going to open the door. I am convinced of it. He's even said as much because he loves being in here in LA, and he'll keep that going. All right, this was some interesting news from the MLS Players Association. Is Tillman going to be sold? Timothy Tillman, I know some of you don't agree with it. Timothy had a great year, and it's been noticed by the national team. He's put a lot of minutes on there. He was noticed by MLS voters for best 11, I can assure you. Timothy Tillman was very good, and he played multiple positions. If they want to sell him, they're going to get a good price tag, even though he's 26, is getting up there. We will see. We want Lucas Moura. I'll put a word in for you. So we will talk about it. Yeah, Tillman got a new sign. Yes, Timothy Tillman is the goods. And then Miguel Augusto, here we go. We're not getting a third DP anytime soon. We have 4 players signed on the under-22 player initiative. So that's it for now. In addition, they do have one more under-22. If they fill that, which I think they're leaning towards, then the slots will be full. So there you have it. MLS Player Association poll results. So what this is, the MLSPA, which gives us access to the players of Major League Soccer, took a poll, and they asked 2 questions. First question, most desirable team to play for. The next question, which team has the best home field advantage? LAFC finished first in both. So for the most desirable team to play for, so they're asking the MLS players, what is the team you would like to play for? The majority of them said LAFC, then San Diego FC, then Nashville. which is great news because if players want to come to LAFC, they will make it happen. Whether that is giving a club-friendly contract, whether it is they tell other teams, I'm not playing for you, I want to play for LAFC. So that opens the door. That's great news that LAFC is on the top. And that's from players who played here before or players who haven't, who are seeing and going, that's what it's all about. The second one, best home field advantage. LAFC number 1, Seattle number 2, Charlotte number 3. I want to point out, Inter Miami is not on the top 3 of either one of these two. I think that's very interesting because you see and hear about all these players that want to go to Inter Miami. They're cornering the market. But according to the players that currently play in MLS, LAFC is number 1. And I want to give credit to the fans on the second one because home field advantage, that's a direct reflection off of you, 3252, and fans on all 4 corners of BMO Stadium. When you show up, the players notice, and it makes them fall in love with LAFC. And it also makes them know they're going to take an L on the way out. Whoa! There you go. So LAFC number 1 in both poll results, the MLS player poll results. So take it for what you're worth, but this is thousands of players that you have going through there. LA Coliseum game will be epic. Yes, it will. The LAFC starts off in incredible fashion with the Real España CONCACAF Champions Cup opener on the 17th, 21st, the game at the Coliseum. The 24th, they have the second leg at BMO Stadium against Real España, and then you try to move on. So everything looks pretty good for LAFC, but they got to get off to a good start, obviously. And they have a great opportunity with the games. Spoke to Marc Dos Santos about that. He's focused on the Real España game, but he knows this team has to be ready for those first 3 games. Players are under contract. Players are going to be in good shape. It's going to be much different than the last couple of years, I can assure you. In the sense that we were still signing players coming in. The core is ready to go. We do have some news about Son Heung-Min. He has won the KFA Goal of the Year, the Korean Football Association. So this is a goal for the national team. It was a goal that he scored against Bolivia November the 14th, so not that long ago. You probably saw it on our social media handles there in Korea. He won it by 57% of the vote, so it wasn't even close. You would figure it because Son Heung-Min scores most goals for the Korean national team. They are preparing for the World Cup. They'll have their games in Mexico. I believe they're playing 1 game in Monterrey and 1 in Guadalajara, or 2 in Guadalajara. That combination. I don't think they're playing in Mexico City. So Son Heung-Min, who also has been making the rounds here, and he's keeping very active. We saw last week he's with Tottenham Hotspur. He had the mural put up. He spoke to the fans. There is also, I haven't seen it yet, but there is a special on the Spurs YouTube page, the Tottenham Hotspur, where they talked to Son Heung-Min about his move to LAFC. And he said, part of it, I didn't want to sign with another team in the Premier League out of respect for Tottenham Hotspur. What a guy. What a guy. He says I can't play for Manchester United or West Ham. It'd be nice. I'd like him in my West Ham shirt. It's my English club. Or Crystal Palace or whomever. Out of respect to Tottenham Hotspur, he would not sign for Premier League, so that helped the move to LAFC. So that's good news for the black and gold. It's also good news because how loyal he is, and we saw that in living color in those first few months of the season, that he will approach LAFC the same way, that he will put them on a pedestal. That's how he is, respectful and appreciative and a great team player, which we knew. And I cannot reiterate this enough. His first full season at LAFC is going to be magical. Magical, because he did everything last season accelerated. He had no choice. He had to get through here, get on the team, take a plane to the US, take a plane to Chicago, play his first game, go to New England, go to Dallas, and he did it. Didn't miss a beat. Scored an incredible goal in the playoffs. We fell short, and that's the way it goes. I saw some with Tillman about the playoff game. It wasn't his best game, but if we put his body of work, he had a great year. We're very lucky to have him. And by the way, Marc Dos Santos picked him out when I talked about players, saying, yeah, Timothy Tillman is going to be a pillar for this time. Looking forward to 2026. How many Sonny and Denny score combined together? How many goals do you think we get? Remember, Denny scored what, 22? Is that more? A little bit more. I'm going to say, let's put the over-under of those goals at 38. That might be too many. 19 apiece, 2018, 38. Why not? They were kind of close to that as it was. There's Juan Vargas, who I saw at Coachella a couple years ago. I wonder if he'd be out there on a Sunday. Sunday's going to be packed too, so get your reservations and all that in there so you can enjoy a great weekend early February. Who won most handsome team-specific podcast host? I don't know, man. Come on. But thanks, Juan. And Ruben. Juan, obviously it was Max. There's only 3 of us. Or 4 of us. Well, all very handsome. All very handsome. If you all see us in a room. Why are we not playing the BMO for the home opener? Well, this is an opportunity. A Coliseum, more eyeballs. These are these tentpole events that MLS wants to do. You know, you should be playing games at BMO. You control the traffic. You control the ticket sales at BMO. The Coliseum, it's out of your hands. So it's not a huge windfall, although it can be. But these are games that you mentioned. Remember, they did that with the Galaxy, and there's some huge turnouts at the Rose Bowl. The Coliseum, which is right across the street from BMO Stadium, is going to be pretty cool. Remember, they had a game at SoFi as well. Maybe that will happen again. There's so many great venues in Los Angeles which are going to be illuminated because of the Olympics. That's why it is. It's just important for the league. They will do that with more teams. But I do believe that will be a thing of the past because the MLS stadiums are so good now. And they're getting bigger. There's a game in stadium in Miami. It's going to be open next year. The stadium at New York City and Queens will be open some point in 2027. And now the one in Chicago is breaking ground. These are all huge cities. So MLS is in good position. When you look at stadiums all over the place, news today that Kansas City Chiefs are going to move to Kansas. Chicago Bears might be moving to Indiana. MLS is kind of gravitating towards the city. And it's going to be a city function and a city support system. So all very good with regards to that. What do we got here? True, he is very royal for Tottenham. Speaking of Son Heung-Min, Juan Vargas, give me some black and gold hearts. 30 goals or 49 goals. Over 25 goals. That's way too low. 65. The Barcelona legends are coming to BMO Stadium. Well, Messi will be there, and the other Barcelona stars have retired. Unless they sign someone. There's just talk about Neymar. I don't see it. No more Rose Bowl. LA Coliseum and SoFi are where it's at. So there'll be games, but again, I think they'll move towards that because MLS will have their stadiums and people will want to come to those venues because that's part of the appeal. Why is our stadium smaller than the Galaxy Stadium? 22,000 is what BMO's capacity. That's the sweet spot for MLS teams. I can assure you, you don't want to go too much higher than that. And you can also go a little bit lower. A lot of teams are going 2021. Galaxy's 27,000. But when the Galaxy built their stadium, they had so many plans for it. It was the home of the X Games, big concerts. Eventually the then San Diego Chargers, big high school games, college games. So it's going to be a multi-use. They have a velodrome there. They have a bunch of tennis courts, etc. So it was a sports facility that they figure would use those seats. But I can tell you, the Galaxy are really stretched getting 27,000 in that building. Outside of 10, 15 clubs, the big clubs, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, Man City, that kind of club, most stadiums, even big clubs, like Chelsea's stadium is not huge. It's a more intimate setting. So I think, the way LAFC has gone, maybe like a couple thousand more. But 22,000 is pretty good. We asked about the kit dropping. I would expect some point mid-January, but I can't confirm that. Can you put in a word for a Sun bobblehead, but not at the Coliseum? It won't be at the Coliseum, Bunifer, but there will have to be a Sun bobblehead just because everyone wants to get a piece of one of those. Everyone wants a piece of them. So there we go. Get your questions in because we're going to wrap up the program here. I want to thank everybody and wish you all happy holiday and a happy new year. I know I've said this through the program, but this, I've been in this business longer than I care to mention. It's been a long time. But I truly enjoy this as much as anything. To be here with you on a Monday, to talk about the club that we love, and to see the exciting future. I mean, there's never a dull minute with LAFC. Yeah, it is. And the stakes are so high where we suffer together. We cherish the moments together. And this show where we can go live and talk to you is very special. There has been a lot of loyal people, and I can't mention you all. I know who you are, that were here from the beginning, where we were growing our audience. Now our audience, we get fantastic numbers that make this show a necessity. The LAFC powers that be have paid attention, and they know that we're doing some great work here, and it's because of you. And we welcome whatever you want. Oh, look at this. Happy holidays, Max, from Miguel Augusto. Been a fan of yours since the Fox Soccer Channel days. So you can do the math and see how long I've been doing this. Happy holidays. Happy Christmas. Yes, for everyone out there. How did the Galaxy, this is not a holiday. How did the Galaxy win MLS Cup and fall off next season? They had to let some people go, including Mark Delgado. MLS has to work on that, right? You know, you can't have a team win it and fall too much. So that's why I think they're going to have some levers with regards to the salary cap. So that doesn't happen. But MLS, and Don Garber said this, it's still a startup league. They're still doing things that are new. But the growth is there, and they will fix things. But everything was done for a reason up to this point. Thank you for your hard work, Soccer OG. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Sonny will get the MLS Golden Boot next year. We shall see. When you bring in on Hercules, we've had him on a couple things. I will give him a ring. He's just so busy. Mr. Dunset told us not to do live math. Yes, he has. We'll have Brian back. Brian is, in order to do the show, we were just here to report some news. There was no games to break down, so he got stuck with me. That's all the time we have, folks. Again, thank you for everything. We're going to miss you for a week or so, but we'll be back early 2026. Big plans for the show. We will see you then. Until then, this is Max saying, let's go black and gold. Oh, I got some news, folks. I got some news. Don't go yet. The jersey is on sale February 10th. We just got that. Our crack production team just shared that information. The jersey available February 10th. So Merry Christmas. I see some people. Oh, I got the W. I got the W. February 10th for the new jersey. So make your preparations now and look good in the new year. I've always said this about the LAFC jersey. It'll get you through the velvet ropes, the hottest LA, Hollywood, downtown club. That's all the time we have. Have a great, great rest of the 2025. See you in the new year.